All right, man. Torture Talk After Hours. You know what it is. So, Poetic Flacco got a video talking about Joe Buttons, and I found this really interesting that this same dynamic may play out again with Joe Buttons and his finances. I got a lot to say about this. Yeah. So let's get to it, man. You already know what it is. Torture Talk After Hours. All right. So let's get to it.
Joe Budden just made a pretty big mistake that could potentially lead to the downfall of his podcast and cause another set of hosts to quit on him. He's repeating the same mistake he made the last time he was forced to do a podcast by himself and talk to an empty chair because all his co-hosts quit on him over money and contractual issues. Credit to Joe for
Well, I don't think all his co-hosts quit on him. I think Parks was still there. Excuse me, it's late, but I gotta do it. Parks was still there, so I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, let's keep it going.
bouncing back, making a podcast bigger than ever, more profitable than ever, while still similarly making all his new co-hosts happy. His new contractual setups and how people get paid is, I mean, seemingly working out well for him and the people who's getting paid. Nobody has really been complaining. Now, it hasn't been perfect. There has been people complaining about languages in their contract negotiations, like when one of the co-hosts, Ish, confronted Joe for putting language in his contract that would prevent him from quitting whenever he wants to quit, but Joe can fire him whenever Joe wants to fire him. And
That's wild. So how is it that? How can you be prevented from quitting? I don't know if that's even allowed. Like I don't know if you. How do you? What type of contract is that where you can't quit a job? That doesn't make sense. How did he write that type of contract? And y'all agree to that? I don't know about that. That's pretty weird.
we watch those contract negotiations play out on air.
And when it comes to my life, being vulnerable to be let go at a whim and have to start all over is something that is valuable to me. And leaving yourself open to that is something that is valuable to me. And y'all looked at me like I was crazy for feeling that way, and I'm not.
I'm not looking
Because you did, because you start bringing up Ish, you gonna be all right, you got other money. I ain't say Joe.
Up.
You
That was
said
me
that.
talking to you outside of a court of law, off the.
I understand the position Joe is in, but I also understand the position they're in. This is why I kind of work alone, because situations like this can get real ugly. Friendships can be torn apart all over money. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. But I got a lot to say, so let's keep it going.
Oh,
Don't do that.
No, no, but
Don't
that
do
was
that.
one. Stop,
Yeah, come
Corey.
on.
Stop.
That's true.
When Joe got a point, you be vocal. When I got a point, you don't say nothing. You don't say when I got a good point. You sit there like a mime. When Joe got a point, you come to run and defend him. Don't do that.
Points, he ain't said a word this whole time. Don't
No,
do
but
that.
when I got a good point, he don't be. I'm reading his face. You're not sitting there.
Some of that was off the record.
True.
Don't do that.
No, what? No, you said that on mic. Like, yo, you gonna be all right.
Yeah, he's very emotional too. I mean, I guess him and Joe been friends for a long time, but me personally, I think it's friendship and business never mix, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It never does. And I think sometimes our friends get caught up in the whole side of it where we look at it like from a business standpoint. I mean, they don't look at it from a business standpoint. They look at it from a friendship standpoint. Like, how could you do this to me? And they don't really look at it from a business standpoint. Joe, I think he looks at it from a business standpoint. But also Joe, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
But still, that's
And
off
I
the
said,
record.
and I said, Joe, you got 2 other co-hosts. You gonna be all right. And you looked at me like I was crazy. So what I'm saying is just a matter of perspective. Like, yo, if somebody has a good point, I recognize your points. I did. I said I recognize your points. I see why you fighting for that. I see how left and you was kind of disheveled for a minute. I understand all of that. Who the fuck would want to go through that again?
Conversations like that tells me there's some type of distrust here. Like, if that's my homie, man, I know my homie ain't gonna do me wrong. He not gonna fire me. He not gonna. But once you start pestering over language like that, it shows me you believe there's an opportunity, or there is a possibility that some bad things could happen, or you could get effed over, right? But even little like contract negotiations like that don't really last for too long. They've been able to maintain a pretty healthy relationship while working. The podcast is phenomenal, is entertaining, is bigger than ever. But you still see cracks, and you still see, man, these contractual issues, these negotiations that take place on the podcast, they have potential to be bigger if there's a catalyst that can really instigate an issue there. Like, for example,
That's 100% facts. I also believe that most people, especially friends, they want you to get paid. They want to get paid much more than what you're offering. Or they want to get paid equal. They want to get paid split down the middle, 50-50. Your friends don't look at it from that point of view. If, let's say I was making $25 million, my friends going to want to be paid. They're going to want to be paid at least 12 to 13 million of that if they work with me. You know what I'm saying? At least half. They're going to want to half. If I told them, listen, straight up, I make 25 million, I'm going to pay you 200 grand a year. And I make 25 million a year, you going to make 200 grand a year. They'd be like, man, 200 grand? Are you crazy? You making 25 million, bro. You can't at least give me $1 million? You can't at least give me 2 million? What about 5? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. I'm not saying I would pay my friends that. I would do something a little bit different. But that's what it is. I'll be honest with you. That's how they look at it.
When Joe introduces a new co-host, because right now, there's about 8 recurring hosts on the Joe Budden podcast. But whenever Joe introduces a new host, you see the other hosts react in a manner that's not so pleasant, because it feels like, okay, this new host is going to get a larger cut of the pie. When negotiations start, I won't be able to ask for more. And you could tell by their reaction when Joe introduced Mark Lamont Hill how they truly feel about contracts and how they truly feel about what they're getting. Because, if they were getting a huge part of the pie, if they were getting a portion that they felt they was comfortable with, they wouldn't react like this whenever a new co-host is introduced.
Also, let me announce to the audience and everybody here, Mark Lamont will be starting sometime soon. The thinking there is to give each of you included, Parks, we got a Park standing too, to give each of y'all a day off, like per month. That's fly, right? Why y'all don't look as happy as I thought y'all would? Y'all don't do that. Listen, man.
You do that when
You do that.
yeah, sure. I'm gonna knock you
See
out.
that?
I mean, I understand what Joe is doing and what he's doing. But I think, me personally, I would have set it up a little bit differently as far as like my friends and his podcast. I know people say business is business and friendship is friendship, but I'm gonna tell y'all where I would have set it up a little bit differently.
Yeah, they
So let me ask you-
see that the way I do it.
So is his contract ending when his contract is ending?
What do you mean? That would be unprofessional.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'll read right through you, nigga. I'll knock you out down.
Ish looked like he's seen a ghost. The other hosts were clearly upset because they realized they now got to share their cut of the pie with somebody else. They know their role is diminished when another person comes on. And when it's time for renegotiations, guess what? You can't really come in and ask for the haul because you have at least 8 other hosts willing to take your spot. So good riddance. They understand this. They're not 100% happy with what they're getting paid because Queen's Flip has often expressed he wants to make 40 bands. He wants to make what Rory and Maul used to make when they were at the Joe Budden podcast. So if hosts are having contractual issues, negotiations is taking place, they're not 100% satisfied with what they're getting paid, the one thing you don't want to do, and the one thing that could really blow up everything, is when you essentially post, admit, confess, brag about how much you are really making from the podcast, how much you are really making from their labor. Because they're content with taking the peanuts as long as they don't know what exactly Joe is making from their labor. But all that changed today when Joe Budden posted this on his story. So Joe posted how many total visits he got to his Patreon. It was blacked out. Everything was blacked out. You couldn't see the revenue or the active subscribers. However, people nowadays have tools online where they can remove the blacked out version. So they removed the blacked out version and they actually showed exactly how much Joe is making on Patreon as well as the active subscribers.
This is one thing that that you should never do. You should never do something like this. I don't know why Joe Budden thought that this was a good idea. This was one of the stupidest things he probably did in his life. You should never, ever, ever do something like this. Do you see Fortune 500 companies? Well, maybe they do, but they do it a little bit differently because it's an annual thing, and they don't black it out. Because if my thing is, then why not just post the whole thing? What you blacking it out for? But you don't see successful companies do stuff like this. They just don't. This is a flex that's definitely gonna backfire. I'm talking like this flex right here is probably gonna end his YouTube channel. It's probably not gonna end his YouTube channel, but it's probably gonna end. It's gonna end his co-hosting. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna end up getting some new co-hosts because at least 2 or 3 of them gonna quit. Because when they see this and they realize that they're getting pennies compared to what he's actually making, yeah, that's not gonna be cool. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna be cool.
Joe is making $902,000 a month with 154,000 active subscribers. Queen's Flip was asking for $40K a month, and Joe said, no way. For you to get $40K a month, you'll probably have to do at least like 10 more episodes a week, which is obviously unrealistic. So Queen's Flip is begging to get paid $40K a month, and he's claiming he's getting paid nowhere near that right now. This is undoubtedly going to cause chaos and turmoil. Now, how much chaos and turmoil?
I'm telling you right now, this is definitely going to cause a rift. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I seen my boy, who I work for, if he's paying me, let's say he's paying me, I don't know, $10,000 a month, right? But he's making almost $1 million a month. Yeah, I would have a problem with that. I'll have a problem with that. I ain't going to even lie. I would have a problem with that. I would have a problem with that. And I think that goes back to what Ish was saying about he can't quit. Because what happens now, he find out something like this. Now it's like, they don't really want to be there. I'm telling you right now, bro, after seeing that, I don't see how any of them could be comfortable working for Joe Buttons. I'm not even going to lie. I would be so uncomfortable. I would be so uncomfortable.
And how far the chaos goes all depends on how Joe handles this. But now it was leaked to me that the hosts were making anywhere between like $10,000 to like $18,000 a month. And I'm talking about like the hosts who are really on a network and who are popular, like, you know, like a Queen's Flip, Melissa Ford, Ish and Ice. The other stragglers, I don't know how much they're getting paid. But when you $10,000 a month sounds amazing until you realize the homie is making $900,000 a month. Now let's just say is 10. Let's be generous here, okay? Let's just say $20,000 a month for each host, because from the conversations, nobody is even close to anything that Rory and Maul was making. So let's just say $20,000 for each host. let's just say the 5 main hosts are all getting 20,000. 100K a month, that's a lot. But then when you look and you see one person making, hold on, man, 900,000 a month? And we getting paid 10,000? Oh, this is gonna cause issues, bro. And I know it's gonna cause issues because I was at No Jumper. When Adam went on a podcast,
I'm telling you, he's 100% right. How is this not going to cause issues? They're going to have a big argument about this. If I'm getting paid 10 grand and you're making almost $1 million a month and I'm getting paid 10 grand a month, you could easily pay me 70,000 a month. Easy. You could pay all of them 70,000 a month and still walk away. Let's say you pay all of them 50,000 a month, right? You make 900, almost $1 million a month. Let's just say you make $1 million a month and you got five hosts and you pay them all 50 grand, right? Even if you paid them 100 grand a piece, you still got over 500 grand. So even if you gave them 100 grand a month, you are still walking away with 500 grand a month. You probably still would have to pay everybody else, like the cameramen and stuff like that. But bro, this is not gonna fare well for him. I'm telling you right now. Y'all might be witnessing the last days of the Joe Budden podcast. All over something stupid like that.
Podcast that he admit that he was being paid $1 million a month off of YouTube. I know the rumblings and the chaos that caused. I watch in real time people go from being content with getting paid $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month to now they start to look at the bigger cut of the pie. Like, hold on, you're making $1 million a month and paying me $6,000, $7,000. Hold on. We watched it in real time, and we watched how that literally led to a mass exit of a lot of No Jumper hosts.
To be very clear and to be very fair, I'm very happy for him if he's making that, right? And once I see 30 million views in a month, right, I could see why if everybody's paying, what does Joe charge? $20, right? If you're having 30 million people go on your Patreon site and the average cost of each membership is $20, I could definitely see you making $900,000. Now, here's the problem. And, I wouldn't have posted this, and I don't even really want to get too much into this because I actually like the guys now on the Joe Budden podcast. The moment this drops, all beef. Like all beef. And put it like this.
He's absolutely right. I'm telling you. This is going to be a major problem. A major problem.
Let me tell you this. There's notable moments when this is never happy again. When Adam went on and said, yo, I'm making $1 million a month, it was never the same in No Jumper. I'm telling you, the passive aggressiveness at the Joe Budden podcast is about to be 5,000. Like, it's going to go 5,000 levels. You know why? Respectfully, and I don't know what nobody makes, and I don't care. I like those guys. I'm not taking shots or nothing. But there's probably on there making $5,000 a month. And $5,000 a month when you feel like you're giving a lot of your life up, or you're bringing some of your personal drama on there to make it more fun and all that, and you realize Joe is getting 900. I always told y'all the thing. The moment Everyday Struggle was over, the moment Joe knew how much Spotify paid us.
I'm telling y'all right now, man, it's human nature, bro. Ain't no more jokes.
It is human nature. I was going to say that. There's nothing they could do. You're not going to. This is not going to be good. I'm telling y'all right now. This is not going to be good. This is not going to be good.
Going to be funny, bro. I don't want to laugh at no jokes, homie. If I'm making 5,000 and you making 900K a month, I don't want to hear no jokes, bro. Even the jokes going to start smelling a little different, bro. I'm going to start seeing passive aggressiveness in things that's genuine. if I'm making $5K and you making $900,000 off me, bro, bro, I don't want to laugh. It's funny. Now you're gonna start having hosts want to start their own platforms because they want to build something for themselves, because they want to build something that can make them $900K a month too. This is going to collapse the Joe Budden podcast if Joe don't handle this properly, and I don't want it to collapse the podcast. I enjoy watching the Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden takes my money every month, okay? I'm one of the Patreon members as well.
When we realized Spotify paid damn near like almost like $1 million, I can't remember what the number was, damn near $1 million, and me and Joe was only getting an extra bump of like 15,000 extra a month, right? And they paid $1 million, and me and Joe are getting 15,000, and literally they're only paying for me and Joe. The moment Joe seen that, Joe said, "Fuck them Friday episodes. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." Like the everyday struggle was never the same after that. That shit was a ticking time bomb. So I don't know why Joe posted this, because he has employees. Like, it's different with me. You know what I mean? I don't have other people that are on camera talent that are on my broadcast. So I could show you.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I said earlier. This is what it is. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did that. I don't know if he was trying to flex or whatever and he fucked up. But yeah, man. I told this girl one time, she was posting stuff, covering stuff up. I said, you know they got stuff that can erase that, right? She's like, no, they don't. I said, yeah, they do. They got stuff that can erase them little background things, like little blackout things. They got tools that can take that right off. Because all it is just a layer. They'll just lift the layer right off. Like, it's not like you marked it out with your hand. You did it on a computer. So you got to understand, it's still under there. Hey, trust me, that AI, CGI stuff, or AI, can remove that real quick. I'm telling you now.
I make $30 million. Who's going to get mad? They're going to be like, well, I just grinded it up by himself, right? Now, maybe if it was like I'm filming at a studio, or say I'm filming, like, you know, obviously we do our podcast from my other studio. Yeah, maybe who's like holding the camera could be like, bro, could you give me a little raise or whatever? But nobody's going to be like, bro, we deserve part of the money, right? Like, I'm over here in Tiger Woods, and you heard me. But when you have like 10 on the podcast, Mike, like Joe, some of these niggas is going to start thinking inevitably, yo, bruv, like, I'm not saying we should bust it down half, but like, if you get 900, like, yo, like, I think I should get like, you know what I mean? Like 50, like, you know what I mean? And, you know, that's incorrect, but still, it's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
We say it's incorrect coming from people who build something up by themselves. But, yo, you can still hear the arguments out for why it should be buzzed down. If you're Ice and Ish, you said, bro, Joe was dead in the water. Everybody hated Joe for firing Rory and Maul. He had no co-host. We stepped in. And we've been here for 3 or 4 years, and we have built this back up brick by brick. We deserve at least some.
Yeah, this not going this not going to look well for Joe. I'm tell you right now, his career might be over because of this. People see how much money he make, and he end up, and his co-hosts come out in the next episode, and they argue this point. If this is true, because Joe is very slick. I still think that, and I know people probably saying I'm crazy for saying this, but I still think Rory and Maul and Joe still got something going on. I think they did that on purpose, in my opinion. My conspiracy theorist hat I'm putting on. But this one here, I don't see why Joe would do something like that. At least crop it out. Like, crop the joint out. But I think he wanted to show and flex, and he got caught out there.
Equity. Now, and I think honestly, Joe probably self-sabotaged on purpose with the Rory and Maul thing, because Rory and Maul, for the most part, was getting percentages and splits. After a while, man, you start making $1 million a month, bro. You start saying, damn, bro, I ain't trying to pay these dudes no 10, 15%, especially once the revenue starts coming from different places and it starts getting complicated to keep track. You much rather just give them a flat fee. But once you start getting percentages enough in equity, you don't want no flat fee. So he got Rory and Mal out the paint and brought in cheaper labor. After a while, that cheap labor done been here for 4 or 5 years. They done built it up brick by brick. Now that cheap labor gonna see $900,000 a month coming in off of my back. I want equity now. I want a percentage, and it's gonna cause issues because I believe for them to get equity and a percentage, they gonna have to claw it away from Joe Budden's cold dead hands. It's not happening, bro. Not ever again. Joe will probably give them 40 bands a month before he gives them equity. It's never happening at all. I compare this, man, to like the blunt roller analogy. And this is how I know Ice and Ish is going to start asking for more. It's like when you have a loyal homie while you're coming up and building and you finally get on, but your loyal homie is still effed up and still broke. He don't got any type of life skills he could use to get some money. So you kind of create a job so you could kind of funnel money back to him while still getting, some tax breaks. And he's making, let's say, $1,000 a month at McDonald's. He's making $12K a year. And you give him a job as a blunt roller for $60,000 a year. Initially, he's going to be super grateful. A year of him blunt rolling for you, and he sees you buying a Miri, you buying Chanel bags for your girl. All right, you going to Turks and Caicos, you buying an AMG, you buying a Lambo Urus, you balling, you eating steak and lobster when you go out. He, on the other hand, went from having nothing to now he's driving, a Chevy Malibu. He's going out, he's getting his girl a Michael Kors. He's eating pasta, right? He's buying H&M outfits. It's still much better than his standard of living, but he's not on your level. A year in that position, he's going to start getting content and jealous. He's going to start looking at you and start thinking, man, if it wasn't for my blunt rolling, you wouldn't be stress-free. You wouldn't be able to perform your job duty. Right? If it wasn't for how good I rolled this blunt, you wouldn't be able to podcast the way you do. So how come you get to eat steak and lobster and I still get to eat pasta? How come you buying your girl Chanel bags and my girl and Michael Kors? How come you making $100,000 a month and you paying me $2,000 a month? It don't matter what their job role is, bro. They're always gonna be ungrateful.
That's 100% facts. That's a fact. I don't care what job role it is. They're going to be ungrateful because number one, a lot of your friends look at you and some of them want more than what you have. I'm gonna tell you right now, I know a lot of people who've been waiting for certain friends of theirs to become successful just so they can ask for a job or they can work for them. They've been waiting for this. And I know a lot of y'all probably know people like that too. I know y'all do. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And Joe knows this firsthand. So I don't understand why Joe will put himself in a position where you're going to make your ungrateful co-host even more ungrateful.
With Joe and them, yeah, this is what y'all do. This is what y'all do, gentlemen, over the JBP. Okay? Whatever y'all little, I don't know, let me not say little because y'all might think I'm disrespecting. Whenever y'all performance up conversation comes up, y'all should probably, try to negotiate. I don't think y'all deserve percentage. That's the Joe show. Not disrespecting y'all, but that's the Joe show. But I would say this. Joe got a pop in Patreon. Again, I want to jump in his business because, again, I'll say something and one will hear it and be like, he just started to be mad toxic and started giving Joe headaches. I don't want to say nothing, and I'm like, it'll come off like I'm hating on my mans. I'm not. I think if Joe has this amount of people with purchasing power and he's getting 30 million monthly episodes 30 million Patreon views, what I think you brothers should do if y'all want to get paid more money, maybe I get paid lovely already, I don't know. Y'all should try to create a show and pitch it to Joe. Joe has a whole platform for Patreon that y'all have helped build. So all these people that's on his Patreon, y'all have helped bring there. He's not going to bust down the money that he's making on his back. I don't care how much y'all there. It's still Joe's show. Bring your show to his Patreon and negotiate a profit split with that.
Ak has been doing this longer than me, so Ak will probably know more. But from my little expertise, you better not bring your show to no Joe Budden Patreon. Is you out of your mind? Listen, I was always told you can never feed yourself off what another man built. You can't feed your family off what another man built, bro. That's that man stuff. That's that man Patreon. You on his platform right now, and in the meantime, while you're on his,
I mean, I kind of disagree with that. I do believe that if you do have an idea, you can pitch your idea. You got to be in the right position though. You can pitch your idea to another to the company you work for, and you never know. There's people who did that before, and their companies became wildly successful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people do that all the time. They do that in the music business, in the movie business. They do that all the time. I mean, yeah, you put yourself in a position where you pitch something to them, and then you start it, and then they do the same thing. It's like a pyramid. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really is.
platform, parlay that and start your own stuff. Build your own stuff, right? Now, I'm not sure if Joe Budden is putting it in their contract to where they can't start their own podcast, but yeah, you got to build your own stuff. You cannot put your stuff on the Joe Budden Patreon. Don't do it. Whatever. Don't do it, bruh. It's gonna be dumb in the long run. You rather build your stuff up slowly while still at Joe Budden Podcast to where eventually you now feel like, okay, I'm in a good position, but don't leave the Joe Budden Podcast. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You still be there and be loyal to Joe and take whatever Joe is giving you, but you want to also build up your own stuff. That's just the formula, bro. That's for everybody. Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, but he still has his own platform. Shannon Sharp at Fox built his own platform. Gilbert Arenas.
And I get what he's saying, but at the same time, it just depends on the business proposal. And how you go about it. So that's all it really does.
Now at ESPN has his own little platform. You have to build your own thing. Don't just bring everything you have to the Joe Budden Podcast. See me? Yo, there's a reason why nobody can't tell me nothing about Adam. Nobody can't tell me a goddamn thing about Adam. Adam got my loyalty for life, homie. Yo, I was a YouTuber with no subscribers, no money at all. I was making $15 an hour at a call center. Adam brought me to LA as a nobody. I had no value. He had all the leverage. Adam could have told me, hey, bro, here is $1,000 a month, man. Take it. I would have taken it, bro. I had no money, no leverage, no nothing. No fame, no clout, no nothing. But Adam, again, I don't know if I should be saying this. Adam gave me a job where I was getting paid $72,000 before I was even on camera, right? Adam gave me a job paying me $72,000 a year to do social media for him, to do like the social media team. Like, yo, if you understand how much like that's like how much that saved my life, I now have the freedom to solely do content, solely work on my channel, solely do content because I was now comfortable, right? But I'm grateful for Adam, which is why, bro, I'm rocking with No Jumper, like for life.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it there. But what y'all think about this whole Joe Budden situation? I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that I look at it from this point of view. If this is real and Joe's doing that, I'm telling y'all now, it's not gonna fare well for Joe. I mean, we might be witnessing the beginning of the end of the Joe Budden podcast, because I think that right there. I mean, let's be clear here. I'm gonna tell y'all what I would do. First of all, what I would do is I'll be up front. Because a lot of these business friendships don't never last because people get upset. So I would be upfront. I would tell I'll be like, look, I'm making about this amount in this ballpark. You know what I'm saying? And this is how much I'm gonna pay you. So if I'm making $1 million, I'm making $1 million a month. I'm paying you $100,000 a month. And on top of that, I want you to start your own podcast where people work under you. Because I want you to become a boss like me. So I want you to start your own podcast. People work under you. And then they start their, it's like a pyramid. That's what I would do. And I'll be like, yeah, and I want a piece for using my name for 5 years. I want a piece of that. And I'm gonna help you grow your channel, but I want a piece. And then after that 5 years, you do the same thing. I don't want nothing else. That's how I would do it. I would sit down and make it fair enough to where my co-host is making not a lot of money. And on top of that, they enjoy working for me. This right here is going to be bad. I'm telling you now, it's going to be bad. So I don't know. But thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Torture Talk After Hours. You know what it is. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.